Wow, wow, wow. We've got ourselves a very strong low pressure system forming, moving throughout portions of Indiana, Ohio, Michigan. This is going to be a big boy snowstorm and a big wind maker, a very strong low pressure, one of the deepest, lowest ones, sub 970 millibar possible that we've seen in January around these parts, challenging records that were just set recently. So I smell snow, that's for sure, because we are going to get ourselves into a very active weather pattern and look at some pretty maps for sure and talk about how much snowfall accumulation you are going to be looking at over the course of the next several days. Temperatures are going to be a big deal too. We're going to see extreme cold in Canada really start to get its act together and lurch down across a big section of the nation. This is very, very cold all the way into Texas, portions of Memphis, all the way across the Great Lakes and Northeast as that bleeds eastward and moderates a little bit into early next week. Futurecast. First, we deal with a little clipper system that'll move across the Great Lakes, dropping a general inch, maybe an isolated amount more. That'll fade away, and then we watch for our bigger system to start getting its act together right behind that by Thursday night here. Big time severe weather again with very heavy rain into your Friday morning. We got the snow system forming. Look at how far that low is. It just moved. Because you have such a strong low pressure system, just think strength, yeah. It just pulls everything off towards the northwest because it gets strong so quickly. Big time snows across portions of Michigan. The warm side across much of Ohio Valley and portions of Pennsylvania. This low cuts all the way up into Ontario. We'll see wraparound lake effect snow and some snow that will continue off across portions of New England. We're not done yet, but this will be the last system of our super active pattern. This one cuts down into portions of the deep south. We're talking about all the way here, and it will move off towards the northeast then at this point. And oh boy, yeah, there you go, off towards the northeast. We don't know if it's going to cut through the lakes or if it'll be more of an east coast type storm, but definitely some more snow wrap around into the middle portions of next week, then very quiet at that point. Very cold though too, sustained chilly weather. We'll have a couple systems. The highest risk for some major impacts will be across Michigan and towards Chicagoland, with several inches likely. Moderate risks kind of surround that, but too much warm air to the south, so not going to really see too much in the way of impact. So we'll add up the snowfall out west here in just a little bit, but look at how it adds up across the Midwest, Great Lakes, in towards the far interior northeast with this first system. Some spots will see 10 to 20 inches of snow in the main corridor, a lot of 5 to 10 inch type amounts in that main boundary, and then there'll be some of that more southern track snow dropping a few inches from that early weak system next week. And yeah, there'll be a lot of snow with these systems with moisture out across the high terrain of the west too. We're talking feet in those intermountain areas. Busy, and it's not, of course, just the winter side of it, it's the severe weather side of it. Pretty good risk for severe storms as we go into Friday across portions of the southeast, so something to keep an eye on with all severe weather threats, including tornadoes. Unfortunately, that risk, because of the low track being further north, could even get slightly, just a minor risk, up into portions of the Ohio Valley. Wow, and we got wind as a weather maker too with this system. We're talking about widespread gusts, 30, 40 miles per hour, with some upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour possible across portions of the Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and then some of the strongest winds will probably be along the coastal regions in the east as we go in towards portions of your weekend. So there's just a lot to talk about now. When you factor in wind with some of that major cold that's going to move in, you're talking about wind chills, what it actually feels like to your skin, getting negative 30, negative 40. Now, that is super cold, well below zero across such a big area of the country, sustained for days. This is by far the biggest cold blast that's been more than a couple days in a few years or so, which isn't saying much, but it will be extremely nippy across a big section of the nation. Snow Miser's going to have fun over the next 10 days.
This is your Norcast weather update.